Hi. So if there's one franchise that I've seen flip-flopping here recently in terms of the fan base, it's Dragon Age, especially Dragon Age Veilguard. In comparison to the entire franchise from what we're used to seeing, there's an evolution there, and there's something that I was wrong about. This game is becoming increasingly difficult to talk about thanks to BioWare. They are spoiling so much about the game, so it's been incredibly difficult to cover news updates because it's essentially just diving into a pit of spoilers. And I don't want that. So this is just an opinion piece about something that I wanted to get off of my chest about Dragon Age and about what's going on in the evolution of the franchise. So if you love Dragon Age, Bethesda games, RPGs, any of that sounds good to you, then consider leaving a like at the least and a sub at the most. Thank you so much. Let's go.
Wanna be a renegade? Red wolf. Red wolf renegade. Red wolf renegade.
One of the biggest things that people have been focusing on when it comes to the Dragon Age franchise, especially recently with the reveal of Dragon Age Veilguard, is the look and the vibe of the franchise as a whole and how much it apparently has deviated from what people have loved. Dragon Age sparked a huge cult following back in November of 2009 with its dark fantasy approach, visceral blood spatter visible on the player character and their party members, deep lore, different races from elves, dwarves, Qunari, humans. And in terms of the politics of the universe of Dragon Age, it is surprisingly vast with many roaring factions, kingdoms, different cultures trying to see eye to eye. You have the downtrodden old kingdoms versus the new and upcoming tyrannical empires and so on and so forth. So seeing it, a lot of the feedback whenever Dragon Age Veilguard was revealed, I've taken some time to really look at Dragon Age as a whole with all four of the games, and it turns out I was wrong. Whenever people talk about how it looks like what they were doing with Veilguard, it's seemingly like watching someone else play with your favorite toys, and they are playing with them in a way that you wouldn't. I've always thought that Dragon Age has been slowly turning into something else, when honestly, that's what I was wrong about. Dragon Age has changed and evolved ever since its sequel, Dragon Age 2. The majority of people would say or admit that they are still, latching on to what they loved most about Dragon Age, which was only ever present in, of course, Dragon Age Origins, the first game. From that moment on, Dragon Age 2 took the ideas of a vast, charismatic, diverse cast of characters like they had in the Mass Effect trilogy and applied it to Dragon Age. And yes, even straight from Dragon Age 2, we had characters with their own romantic preferences, whether it be male or female, regardless of their own orientation. Dragon Age Origins, in comparison, was very subtle about its romance, very fairy tale-like and not over-exaggerated. Even the humor in Dragon Age Origins was very subtle with characters like Sten. Following Dragon Age Origins, even the race of the Qunari changed dramatically in Dragon Age 2, where the Qunari, they were a race that were at the forefront in terms of the art styles, because everything got flipped on its head from Dragon Age Origins to Dragon Age 2 in that aspect. They went from big, strong, gray-skinned people to a big, strong, tall, gray-skinned, horned people with a facial structure that was completely different. Now when you jump to to Dragon Age Inquisition, the third installment, you will see this leaning even further into what Dragon Age 2 had implemented. Dragon Age Inquisition was released in 2014, and for at the time it was the next-gen console, so a lot more was possible there in terms of the visuals by comparison to old hardware. So we started to see a lot more of that colorful explosions, bright and vibrant locations, massive open world areas, and so on. When it came to the characters of Dragon Age Inquisition, the third game, they implemented the diversity of the characters even more so, leaning more heavily into player choice and romantic preference. Now, we can all talk about the delivery of the overall game loop being very diluted thanks to the large areas like the hinterlands in Dragon Age Inquisition, but this was due to the the fact that the lead designers for the quest specifically were MMO quest developers, making sure that a single player game, that it was there for you to spend well over 100 hours simply grinding out tedious quests and gaining power points to allow you access to main quest to further the story. Overall, when someone says that Dragon Age has changed, it's become more woke, it's become more like Fortnite. Anyone who says that they love the Dragon Age franchise most likely started with Dragon Age Origins, the first game, and have been wanting that tone to come back ever since. There is a subsect of fans that love Dragon Age, but honestly love Dragon Age Origins more than what they have been given, but still enjoy the series overall. Now, it's not like people are constantly playing the Dragon Age franchise, because of course the last Dragon Age that we got was 10 years ago at the time of this video. So a lot of things have changed in people's lives, their perspectives, their beliefs, their likes and dislikes of different media, that they might once loved, and now they're not really fans of that anymore. People change. Dragon Age is an incredibly connected franchise where multiple storylines, characters, character developments, etc. are all connected within this one massive storyline, so it's very difficult to say that Dragon Age Veilguard is attempting to bring in a new audience with this new art style and cast of characters. The issue that everyone had in the very beginning was its first impression. Admittedly, it was awful marketing that we got with the Heroes trailer, and it was just really, really bad. Now, recently we have been seeing a ton more about Dragon Age Veilguard, and it seems like the majority of people are extremely relieved and excited about this new entry after seeing raw gameplay without any sort of forced marketing, that seems completely out of touch with the franchise as a whole. So what was I completely wrong about? Well, this is Dragon Age, and it has been for almost 15 years. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Dragon Age Origins, and I know a ton of people that speak highly about their love of Dragon Age, but those people are most likely simply talking about Dragon Age Origins, not the entire franchise, or each entry for that matter. I've recently been replaying the entire franchise of Dragon Age back to back, and I was wrong about how much changed from Dragon Age 1 to Dragon Age 2. I was wrong because it has been like this ever since Dragon Age 2, and with the technology given at each entry point of each game, things have escalated in terms of its visual delivery, character diversity, etc. Dragon Age 2 was the turning point in the franchise, and the evolution is very apparent as the games have gone forward. Each entry in the Dragon Age franchise could be more important to each individual, or they could just love the entire franchise for what it is, and its deep connected lore and stories and characters. So I would say if you're a fan of Dragon Age, go in with an open mind and take a second look at the franchise as a whole, because you might miss out on a great sequel that we have waited for 10 years. It's a long flippin' time. I'm slightly more excited, I'm teetering on the side of cautiously optimistic because, again, I'm a huge fan of the series and I love each entry for different reasons. So there you go. I just wanted to give my thoughts on Dragon Age Veilguard. It's been looming over me like a cloud. In the future, I'll try to cover more Dragon Age. It's really hard to avoid spoilers, BioWare, but I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments, and say it nicely. Be nice to each other. Come on. So again, if you love RPGs, Starfield, Bethesda games, Dragon Age, any of that kind of stuff sounds good to you, consider leaving a like at the least and a sub at the most. Thank you all so much. Goodbye.